Yeah, it's up that Morton spot. So this week's SmackDown. I also thought it was good. It was obviously a pre-tape. I mean, SmackDown's always pre-tape, I'm pretty sure, but it was obviously a pre-tape because everybody's on their way to Crown Jewel.
I think
Um,
it's live most of the time. I
oh,
want to
is
say
it?
it's live.
I'm not
It's a
sure.
live.
I'm not sure.
I think it's a live show most of the time, but because of Saudi Arabia, the trip they're going on, yeah, I know that they did it back to back. Last week was live, and I think this week was taped on that same day.
Yeah. So it was basically just a pre-Crown Jewel show. Um, Liv Morgan and Nia Jax had a face off. Where Tiffany Stratton, I liked this a lot. Tiffany Stratton was like, if I cash in this case on Liv and take your title, does he come with me too? And that legitimately incensed Liv. Like she was happy and laughing at people and every until Tiffy said that. And then Liv acted like she was as pissed
Why would
off as
Tiffany Stratton be interested in Dirty Dom?
I
Though?
don't
Like,
know, but yeah, I think it was just in to incense her, and she did. But it was funny either way. But yeah, basically the entire show was just a big build up. So, I like that. Cody Rhodes and Randy Orton versus Imperium was pretty good. The go home math had Cody Rhodes laid out, so he won at Crown Jewel. So that kind of made sense. Um,
yeah, that's usually the logic, isn't it?
mhm.
It's like, oh,
We had
whoever gets laid out is the one that takes the the
the
the win at the end.
yeah. So then we had like a another match I really liked. There was a four-way with Bianca Belair, Piper Niven, Io Sky, and Lash Legend, which is half of all of the tag teams that were going to be in the Crown Jewel women's tag team title match. Spoiler: no titles changed hands at Crown Jewel. So Bianca and Jade are
Jade.
still the champions. Yeah, so Bianca and Jade are still champions, and this match was really good, man. This Bianca Piper Io Lash Legend, it was a good match. It was kind of short though. I felt maybe 10 minutes. I didn't feel like it was very long.
See, I don't like that. Like when you have that many people in the same match, give it some time.
Yeah. Plus
Like
all the business going on outside.
otherwise it seems like it's just cheating you out of your time.
Mm-hmm.
And the wrestlers for that matter.
Yeah, yeah. Another thing I liked, we had a tag match with Street Profits and Pretty Deadly, and it was good, man. So Lin Manuel Miranda was in the front row, and apparently,
Yeah.
and they did a bit where Pretty Deadly, when they came out, they gave him like a flyer for their musical and a CD copy of their musical. And he was like, "Yeah, yeah, this is great." Like all getting along with himself. And as soon as they walked away, he looks at the camera. He's like, no, no, just."
That's great. That's
It was
great.
kind of funny.
I'm a big fan of that guy.
He
I think he's
dressed as
great.
Dirty Dom Mysterio for Halloween. And if you haven't seen that,
Oh, that's
check that out.
fantastic.
It was
Oh, I will have to check that out. That's
it was pretty
fantastic.
good. Like he went to an event, WWE. I guess he went to the WWE event that was that night, and he was dressed as Dom Mysterio, and he met Dom Mysterio, and that it was pretty cool. Like because it like Dom and Liv were just walking by, and she turns, and she, the hell, what the? Yeah, and
I
she points him
remember
out.
hearing. I remember he was in England at one point, and he just randomly decided to go to an NXT UK show, like because he was in town. Like, dude's a big wrestling fan. Like, he's. I mean, between him and his connection with The Rock, like, I mean, that's a partnership that really should be mined for more than they are.
I
Honestly.
have been known to leave open spots in my vacation itineraries because I have inklings there might be an indie show in the area on that open spot, and then I'm like, I always tell my wife, like, "Hey, we got nothing better to do. Let's just go to this. Let's go to this indie show." I always tell her, I was like, "We'll buy tickets, and if we get in there and it's a trash bag wrestler show, and you don't want to stick around for the mud show, that's fine. We can go." But like we like, I mean, if I go into a place and it's just a CD venue, I'm like, maybe I don't want to stick around here.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know, there are some, but some places, like a lot of the Colorado promotions, really clean venues, freaking awesome.
Hmm.
So then we had a okay. this kind of bothered me, okay, because anybody who's been paying attention to these knows that they just did a round of releases in WWE, and they released Baron Corbin, and they released Indy Hartwell, and they released somebody else. I can't remember who
Tegan
else.
Knox.
Tegan Knox. Okay, so they released those three. Indy Hartwell was in a tag match on SmackDown with Candice
Yeah,
LeRae on Friday.
I heard about
Like,
that.
I'm not happy with it, but I did enjoy the tag match. So I'm not like
But it was
I can't really give it
bittersweet
a.
because
I'm
of stuff
yeah.
that, yeah.
I'm not
You
going
know,
to give the tag match a down. I am going to give them releasing people a down because you're making millions of dollars. Stop that.
yeah.
No.
I mean, let's be real. They probably did all they could with Baron Corbin. I mean, what do you get? My friend George thinks that maybe he'll wind up on the Food Network because he's a pretty well known foodie. I think that would make sense. Ultimately,
Yeah.
quite frankly, I mean, if it's one thing that they don't have in their litany of celebrity foodies and chefs on that network, it's a giant ex football player and pro wrestler. They certainly don't have
True.
that. And from what I understand, he's Corbin's actually pretty good in the kitchen. So
I've
like,
heard that a couple of times
yeah,
from different
like he,
places.
yeah, like it's something that keeps popping up that I keep hearing. I'm like, oh, well, good for him. Like, I mean, I appreciate food, but maybe not to that degree. But like, I
Yeah.
will definitely, I might watch that show on occasion simply out of curiosity. As far as
Right.
the other two are concerned, man, Indy was so funny. She didn't really have a chance to really show what she could do. I liked Indy Hartwell, but I mean, what are you gonna do? A Tegan Knox, I kind of get because like I don't want to make this sound disrespectful because it's nobody's fault that their bodies betray them.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but
Mm-hmm.
she did get injured a lot, and honestly, I know that she was super highly touted during the Mae Young Classic or whatever, but honestly, I just thought she was okay. I didn't think that she was worth the hype they were giving her in terms of, oh my god, she didn't seem like the second coming of Charlotte Flair or somebody. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like, I mean, she was absolutely fine. She's great. She's good in the ring, but like, I didn't see. I guess I didn't see the same thing that she was being touted as the potential that they were touting of her. I just never saw it.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so I mean that
I'm
one
not
doesn't really
exposed to it
bother me
enough.
as much. Like the Indy Hartwell one bothers me because she's talented from a character standpoint, especially, and
Mm-hmm.
they really could have done a lot more with her. They have this weird thing about releasing their funny Australian women that bugs the crap out of me. They got rid of the Iconics when they could have really, really mined that for a lot more.
Mm-hmm.
Those two women are hysterically funny. I loved those women. I would do the Iconics pose all over the place to the point where my wife really hated when I started doing it. But uh, but yeah, and then they split them up and let them go. Like, do you have something
Mm-hmm.
against funny Australian women? Hmm? WWE? Huh?
I
Ah!
don't know. But yeah,
Let them do
so
their thing. Let them be funny. Let them be talented. Let them live up to their potential. I'm okay with them letting Tegan Knox go. I'm okay with Barrett and Corbin. I mean, ultimately, I'm kind of okay with it all since I don't watch WWE anyway. In my opinion on this doesn't really matter. But like, if the one I do kind of feel in my heart is as a little hurting a little bit as Indy Hartwell because I really felt like I didn't hear anything from her of being used since she got the call up to the main roster. She won the NXT title, then she got called up to Raw, and then she got injured. And then they didn't do anything else with her after she came back from injury, like at all.
no.
At all. And then they let her go. Like, what are we even doing?
Right. But yeah, I mean, overall the shows were good. So the bloodline, like, okay, so I was talking about earlier, Jimmy and Jay got back together on Raw. They had their little talk. on SmackDown in the ring. Jimmy did the whole, like, we're not going to be your lackeys. I'm not your henchman or any of that anymore. And then Jay said he wanted the three of them to be equals in the bloodline, and he's not his henchman anymore. And Roman Reigns took the mic and just said yeet.
Okay.
And the
I
crowd reaction
suppose
to
that's
that
an
was
affirmative.
a crowd reaction to that was so heavy that the Usos then like Jimmy just went to the ropes like on hard cam sign and put his one up. And then Jay kind of fiddled around a little bit, and then he went over on his side and he, did the thing. And then Roman kind of looked at them both and like slowly walked up to the middle and he put his up, and the crowd reaction was fucking insane, man. It was just, this is notable and likable because of the way the crowd reacted to this.
Yeah.
I mean, from the moment Jay came down with his, like his music shut off and they continued singing it for like a stanza.
Nice.
While Roman's just standing in
Very
the
cool.
ring looking around it like, oh, so this is how it is, like,
Yeah.
oh, like maybe here's your moment of clarity as to who Jey Uso is now.
Yeah.
And then, but it
Which
just,
lends credibility to the insistence that they not be seen as lackeys,
yeah,
because this is how they're being perceived by the crowd now. You can't
mm-hmm.
ignore this.
Right.
This is how they see us. This is how we are.
Mm-hmm.
My question, I guess, would be like, what is a tribal chief if everybody's an equal?
I don't know. He kind of said that he, like, you're my cousin, not my tribal chief. So, I
So
guess
what's
that's
what's the
so.
point of this whole
The
thing?
play of this is that they have a match with the Bloodline at Crown Jewel, and from what I can see in the results that I've read, the new Bloodline won the match.
Yeah.
And then I guess Jay was going to kick Solo and he kicked Roman. So there's going to be like some distrust stuff going on as they kind of come back together. I don't know how they're going to play it with like him being the tribal chief, but not being a chief of these guys. Like these guys are equals. But then also, I mean, Jay was like, I want to go after them because they're fucking up the family. Like, and I
Yeah.
guess that because his whole point, like a big kind of thread of his interactions with Bloodline people has been like Tama and Tonga are dangerous people, and Jacob Fatu is a dangerous person. They're messed up, dangerous people, and they're bad for the family. And Solo is not with that. So that's kind of what it is like now at this point. So at least I think that's where that with a little bit more clarity and some more push, that's where it's going to go. Is like the reason we are together is because we're family, and these guys are screwing our family up because they're dangerous people. So we'll see how that goes. I mean, they can pretty much go wherever they want now since they've got the tag belts off of the Tongas, and I'm still not like a big fan of the whole bloodline thing right now, but the segments themselves are good. I
I think it's
I
tough.
kind of
I
don't
mean,
want to wait another year to figure out what's happening here and where it's
yeah,
going.
long-term storytelling falls apart if you're taking too long to pull the trigger.
Mm-hmm.
Like
And
for
then I know we're
me,
gonna get Roman and Cody again. Like Roman said as much.
yeah.
So like, let's get to it, I guess.
Well,
But they're
it's
gonna
still
say that for
November.
WrestleMania, probably.
They still have Survivor Series. That might be the blow off, or whatever they do in December might be the blow off, so that Roman can win the Rumble.
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't have Roman win the Rumble. I would just have him compete and have whoever wins the Rumble challenge Gunter, because that could. He's Roman Reigns. His character is such that he's at that John Cena level, that Hulk Hogan level, that Steve Austin level, where he can just demand a match and get it. He doesn't need to go
Mm-hmm.
through the rigmarole of winning the Royal Rumble. Have
Yeah.
that push go to somebody else. Have that accolade go to someone else, which leads into the second point. He doesn't need another freaking accolade.
That's true. That's true.
Stop piling them on the same guys. There are so many talented people. So many talented people. Like, do you like I'm not saying that everybody should have the same, that everybody deserves a participation badge world championship. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is that there are people who could benefit from it, and there are people who it would just be adding to their resume without actually adding to their resume. Roman Reigns
Yeah.
doesn't need another Royal Rumble win. He doesn't. He's set. He's made. He is the golden child. He does not need it. Give it to somebody who could use it so that you can create more stars. The Attitude Era worked as well as it did in part because for the first time ever, there wasn't just one top guy. There was one and 1A. Whenever Stone Cold was out, you could put the Rock right in there and it would still work. Like, you need to be constantly making new guys. You need to be. This is a very physical, demanding business. People get injured at a moment's notice. You have to have people slotting in there. How do you do that? You build people up. Otherwise, when you don't do that, you get CM Punk versus Ryback and Hell in a Cell on 2 weeks' notice. That's what you get.
Yeah.
Is that what you want? That's not what I want.
No.
It's not what the fans want. Give them people. If you have the more stars you can make, the more people that you can get people to invest in, the more tools you have at your disposal in case something goes wrong.
Yeah.
I know that it's always been a star-led business, and there's always been, the one guy or whatever. It's like, well, who's the next one?
Gotta get quick on making them next ones, man. Because people are retiring earlier and earlier because they don't want to be old and beat up.
Yeah. And a lot of, and more than ever before, wrestling is acting as a gateway into acting and politics and other safer, more lucrative avenues of revenue for your household. So continue to make guys, and it seems like they're doing that for a lot of guys. I'm not saying they're not doing that, but you can't let up. You need to be in that mode constantly.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're going to wind up, again, Ryback and CM Punk. It sucks. It sucked to be fun.
But yeah, other than that, really, WWE is good all week this week. I'm not really surprised by either results I read for Crown Jewel. The belt's still ugly. That's really all I'm going to say about it. But yeah, other than that, SmackDown and Raw.
Those Saudi shows are generally predictable anyway. You don't usually miss anything.
No.
When you skip those.
Raw and SmackDown were really freaking good this week, man. I enjoyed them both, and SmackDown was good. So we'll see where it goes from here, and hopefully things stay good. But that leads us to a hot tag.